So I'm looking at the agenda, but I would like for us to maybe touch on what is our purpose? What are we trying to accomplish besides meeting to be all like, kumbaya, that's all good and everything, but what are we trying to actually do so we can show folks that we're trying to actually do something substantial?
Yeah, I like the kumbaya part.
I'm just saying. I had a beer, y'all. Excuse me, forgive me for that.
No, it's good. It's good. It's all good. It's all good.
It's seven
You
o'clock
are.
here, so don't hate me.
There is nothing. There is nothing to apologize for. So before we get started, before we get started, just a quick reminder that this is a CNCF meeting, and it falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which boils down to respect and be respected, treat the others like you like to be treated, and we will have never issues.
Mhm.
And if anything happens, you can reach out to me. If it's me, the problem, you can reach out to Colleen, you can reach out to Calais. Um, and if it's the three of us, well, that's a problem. Okay,
William,
anyway.
Kalea, like Princess Leia.
Kalea,
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 Princess Leia.
Kalea. Thank you. That's first violation. I keep making the wrong name. Okay, Kalea. Thank you. I'll go back to this recording and just print it in my head. Okay. Um, okay. First, um, Leon and Tonga, would you like to introduce yourselves? I think I've never met you before. So if you feel like it, I mean, it's not mandatory.
Yeah, this is my second meeting. I think I joined the very first one that happened. So hi, I'm Dion. I work at Solar.io. Currently working as a customer support success engineer there with HTO and all these things. And I'm from Mumbai, India.
Okay.
Nice to meet
Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here.
Welcome.
Hi everyone. My name is Ntonga. Everyone calls me NT. I actually got to know about this community at KubeCon, at the BIPOC like meeting at DEI. I work as a marketing operations specialist at Syntasso, which is a company that developed Cratix, and open source software that is like basically a framework on which you build internal developer platforms. Excited to be here to learn, to contribute, but mostly to learn because I'm really new to the space.
Well, I remember your
Very
pretty
nice.
face. Welcome.
I remember as well. I remember as well. Very nice to have you here. Okay. Nice. So, Kalea, you have raised a very good point, and I think it's so a quick rewind. Wayne, Wayne, yes, Wayne, welcome. Nice to have you here. Do you want to introduce yourself? I know that Rob sent you my way, so that's very nice.
Yeah, I'm Wayne. Originally from Trinidad in the Caribbean. Living in Canada now. I'm a systems engineer. Um, my background is really so I was a mechanical engineer and then switched over to IT. But trying to figure out where I want to land with IT. Just really looking for some guidance to kind of figure out this whole thing. I'm looking for a good mentor because the people I've worked with, I don't know.
No, it's right. It's right, Wayne. You are in the right place. We're also trying to figure it out. We figure it out together.
Have to be afraid to show their logo for supporting.
Sorry?
I heard that too. I don't know who said it.
was
What's that?
That wasn't me.
That
I
was
don't
you?
know.
No,
I
that
don't,
wasn't me.
no, I don't know where that came from. Okay.
Well, do you think we get
Oh.
like a boom bomb with like some weirdo who comes in our meeting and says weird stuff? Like I saw that on TikTok.
No, I think that
No.
was my, I thought I was muted. I was looking through my tabs.
It's all right.
Okay.
Me.
You
Welcome,
found the
Wayne.
tab with the
Glad you're here. Sorry.
you found the tab with the music.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
have so many tabs open. Go ahead. Sorry.
Welcome, Wayne. We're glad you're here. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, everyone. See some new
Hi,
faces.
Catherine.
That's exciting.
Yes. And one of the faces was at the BIPOC gathering, so that's even more exciting. So, Catherine, you want to put yourself in the agenda attendees as well? In the attendees?
Uh,
I post. There you go. And just keep posting the link in the chat. It's okay. So now let's go back to Kalai, and let's go back also to my learnings from Kalea. Kalea. Okay, that's. I knew that I made a mistake
Oh,
again.
you got the look. You know the look, right? Ah,
Yeah,
I
I did.
love it.
I
I
saw
love
the
it when
look.
you know the look. You got
I
it.
did. I did.
Yes.
So what are the things that I saw, that I learned, that I was pondering while at KubeCon and before KubeCon, right? I made a wrong. So with all this thing of, it's interesting because the whole thing was triggered from who is the chair of this initiative, who is the chair of this group, and I really was trying to understand what should be the characteristic of the chair of this group. Should be somebody that takes initiative. Well, what does it mean that? I mean, somebody that takes initiative is not doesn't necessarily more to say that somebody that doesn't take initiative, right? Or maybe should have leadership qualities and all those things. But then I went into a place, trying to think the background and where we are from and where we are currently living. And then things got more interesting for me, and my way of approaching problems. So when we when we approach a problem that we want to come up with a solution, and this regardless of the field of the problem, we need to have a degree of knowledge and a degree of understanding of the field of the problem, or the fields of the problem, right? So if we are trying to understand how to solve a heart disease, we should know how the heart works. That's pretty much how what I'm trying to say. So, and this is very much more much more fundamental and important when we are addressing socio-economical problems or social problems, or like we have at end, right? BIPOC is a social thing. We have to understand where we're gonna want to take it, as Kalea just rightfully mentioned. So what do we want out of this? And this, I personally think that goes back to the problem that we're trying to solve. So what we want is a solution to the problem. Now, if we look at it from origin of the problem, or the problems, we have to look at where we are from, right? I mean, Colleen and Catherine, you guys are in the States, and at the moment in the States, it's a really difficult situation, which will inevitably propagate to Europe as well, to the rest of the world. We all know that the United States sometimes just lead a situation, or ignites a situation for the rest of the world. So there are things, there are goals that we need to achieve to protect us, to protect members of the BIPOC community, but also we need to do something that is on that line, and that is on addressing that problem from that origin. And I think personally, I'm the wrong person. I do not know the reality of the United States. Like I might be black, I might be part of the BIPOC, but I do not necessarily have lived or live the realities in the United States. I think Colleen, Kalea, you, from what I understand, you live in Germany, right? I mean, so while you actually, you are from the States, you were raised in the States, correct?
Yeah, but I live in Germany. Colleen, Mark, and Travis are still in the States. They live there. I am living
Exactly.
in Germany because I got out.
Exactly.
That's
So exactly. So I think that that Colleen is Colleen and Mark and Taylor. I don't think they're around, right? No, they're not around. They would be best suited to lead that initiative and to have a strong, let's say, if we want to put a multifaceted scale, I think the scale when we talk about the US should lean more towards them than towards us, because they have more to say. I'm gonna end quickly, Catherine, and then open up the floor. I just wanted to have this start. So on the other side, what I'm very strongly interested in is is the problems that I see where I am. And the problems that I see where I am is that I want to see more people in a leading or a visible position that are from the BIPOC. So I want to have those mentor programs, and I want to promote those. I want to help people contribute to open source, and especially people from the BIPOC community. I want to help them finding jobs as well where I can with my limited resources. And this and I want to also have people from other areas leading on those on their part. So I don't think so. My first point is that the BIPOC shouldn't have a leader. That's should have leaders. Should have multiple leaders that are not assigned, but taking charge of the different angles of the problem that we have. And of course, with the new restructuring, Catherine, maybe you would know better. I think the BIPOC would fall into a community group rather than a working group or initiative. But yeah, this is what has been going on in my head. Catherine, go. Floor is open.
First of all, I think we shouldn't. First of all, like there can be up to 3 co-chairs. It's generally not one person leading it, right? And those are generally the people who are the most active. I think there could be made a case to have people representing various experiences and backgrounds, right? Because it is a global initiative. It's not US centric, and it shouldn't be US centric. And then I also think that our goals are more focused on the cloud native community, which is a global community, not necessarily specific to a country. Of course, you cannot disentangle those things. But again, like if we look at the 3 goals or the 3 buckets that merge forward, which will be this overarching initiative, Linux Foundation initiative, where all these diversity groups will fall under. Basically, the 3 buckets are advocacy, right? Like educating the community and gaining allies, right? And then visibility, making sure that people are visible, that they speak at conferences, that they are active contributors to the conversation and so on. And then a supportive network, right? Which is what happens on Slack. I definitely think that the job thing is something that I really love that idea. Kind of say, like, if every single person that channel says, like, whenever there is one job opening in my company, I will make sure that at least one person, good candidate from the BIPOC community will apply, right? And you give them a little bit of background information about the company and thing that helps, but you still have to be qualified. But like, you know, like things that make an entry easier, because other people have also like easier entries because they know people, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily kind of country specific or something. So
It's not country.
raising kind of, I mean, like, because those are realities we kind of move between, but like really advocacy, visibility, and networking, a supportive network. I think that applies to everyone in every country, no matter their experiences, right?
It does. It does. But again, that's the point of what I was trying to make, right? I mean, it does for me, but for somebody living in the States, might feel like peanuts, might feel like not appropriate. I don't know because I don't live there, and I'm not living that situation every day. When I look at the news, I'm flabbergasted for what I see, and I wonder if it's even legal, certain things that are being done. But but I don't live there, and I do, and I while I support 100%, I think I cannot be the one to say anything. I think Colleen, maybe it's more appropriate.
But why should you? I mean, like, it's not supposed to be a political movement. We're an open source movement.
It's not a political movement. We are an open source movement. Absolutely true. But what is being perceived from me and from outside is pure racism. Because and racism is not political. Racism is a social condition. So the when as I said to many of you, when a very highly decorated general gets fired because he's black with the excuse that he was a DEI hire, you wonder where if it's actually, I mean, that becomes racism. So, and it's also sexism because also
So
the admiral was fired.
let me jump in
So,
here. Let me jump in. So, you know, I'm born and raised Black American, right? So this is not the first time we faced adversity in America, and it won't be the last. We faced many adversities over the centuries, over the last decade, and we've always been able to rise above it. There are a lot of things in place that are shocking, to say the least. It even shocks us. But this particular organization and how it's set up is not set up as a DEI effort. So to me, anyway, it's not set up as a DEI effort because it's not called that. Even though we're at KubeCon, we call them DEI communities, but that was a name that was brought before Trump went straight crazy. But Trump was crazy his first term, so I already knew that. But the reality of it is that people of color are only people of color in the Western world. We're not people of color in the global South because we're all the same color depending on what countries we come from, right? What continents we come from. But only in the Western world are we people of color. And because of that, we have a certain amount of ways of navigating and circumventing things and being able to thrive in situations that could be stacked against us. But we do that by helping each other, by understanding how things work. And we can only do that when we help each other, right? And we give each other advice and help guide each other. What's happening in the US is the US is a unique society. Only in the US do they ask you for race for your job, your school. The moment you're born, your race is identified. Everywhere else in the world, you're not identified by your race. So US is a very different entity. If we don't want to no longer do BIPOC, then we should say we no longer want to do BIPOC. But I think if BIPOC is only focused on the US, it's going to be really hard for this initiative to go beyond initiative because you're going to get too many pushbacks because they're going to be seen as DEI versus being seen as an initiative that's trying to help underrepresented communities be moved forward. And there's a lot of us sprinkled around this Western world as well as the global South. And we want to engage, but if communities like this only focus on the US, other people are going to feel left out. If you're coming from India, Sri Lanka, any country in Africa, you're going to feel left out because you're not experiencing what they're experiencing in the US. It's a different type of movement. And if you're Black in Europe, name the country, it's a different type of way of moving, a different experience. But if we're going to just have this movement just focus on the US, then you know, that's something we need to clarify, because if that's the case, I'm out. Because I thought this was global and not just regional. And the US, especially what's going on in the US right now, is going to turn off a lot of allies as well, because they're going to get nervous. Allies right now in Europe aren't going to get nervous, but I feel like allies in the US, the US is just a powder keg right now. So that's all, that's my little 2 cents. Sorry to the new people who just joined. You know, you guys are just joining at this weird time, right? Canadians, we love the Canadians by way of Trinity. We love y'all. So forgive us for the craziness that's happening.
I'm confused.
I'm-
Where was
oh,
the movement about it's just concentrated on the US? I'm so confused.
I
As part of the reason is the reason that some people were concerned at the meetings before is, and these were just people that were in the US, that they were just a little worried about what was going on in with DEI, because this community, I'm confused if it's not in it, is absorbed in the DEI hub. So, I mean, I came later. I'm not sure. I was just volunteering, trying to help out. But it is in the DEI hub. So obviously, when the administration got a little crazy and some people were concerned, and yes, it was in the US, we just discussed, like, what can we do? Can we just, you know, just say something on behalf of the CNCF, because they still had the hub that we, you know, that we stand for it no matter what. That's it. You know, it was just a request. But I'm trying to figure out where this thinking is that should just be all concentrated on the US. It was just a conversation that people in the US were worried. And I do have people, allies all over the world that, of course, have the same issue and concern with their US colleagues, that they share the concern. So, but if we want to, I don't know what's going on, but it seems like there's some kind of underlying whatever, but I'm just,
no,
yeah,
there isn't.
there shouldn't
No,
be a US versus whatever. It should be
no.
the concerned. And we tried to figure that out because we are in this DEI hub, which was represented, and we were doing the work for it. Then what's going on? What should we say? Because it does say DEI hub and it was sponsored by Google. What's the next move? What should we see? So what should we say? What should we ask Chris? What should we ask Priyanka? Just some concerns. And it's not just me. It's just, there's other people who can figure that out.
So, Colleen, that no, first of all, there is no underlying thing that is being messaged. No, absolutely not. There was somebody that said, "Is this only a US thing?" Because it feels like it, but it isn't. First of all, there is however, the concern about the BIPOC term, and I know, and I must put myself in it, because when it was mentioned to me the first time, I actually had to look it up what it meant. I didn't know, because BIPOC, it's a very strongly, let's say, American, and I don't know if it's also Canadian. So I'm just saying that part of the ocean kind of thing. So the I know that for a European, if I go to many times to Europeans would say to me, "What is BIPOC? What does it stand for?" And I have to say, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And even the people of color do not feel represented in there, because they say, "Well, I'm not a person of color. I'm not an Indigenous." So well, Well, I like to be very precise. And indigenous is everyone that is living in the place where it's native. So indigenous can be also a German living in Germany is an indigenous. So people say that they don't feel they are represented when we say indigenous. So
So it's a semantics thing?
I believe there is a part of it is semantic. I believe a part of it it's uh, it's it's where it all is from, right? I mean, CNCF, who's talking, who's responding, and all these things. Yeah, I believe there is a high part that is those two items. Catherine?
Well, first of all, I think it shouldn't well, I didn't know the BIPOC term before too, so I had to look it up. And I remember someone said like, oh, we should also like kind of like do, because like for those who don't know it, like we started with the deaf and hard of hearing and then kind of see like other diversity groups. And I was like, oh, cool, that sounds relevant. So I don't know how we call it shouldn't matter. I think what matters are the outcomes. So if there are a better term, let's pick something if it's the same. But I think like really kind of focusing on the name is the wrong thing, because again, like we should be focused on outcomes and how we can change things. But if someone feels uncomfortable or doesn't feel included, I don't know what the solution is. That's something that we can discuss. Maybe just keep it as a placeholder, and like I don't know. That's something that you guys should decide. And in terms of yeah, I don't know how the whole US thing came up either. But yeah, basically the first group we created was the deaf and hard of hearing, which is a global global community, and we're focusing like trying to be more inclusive and so on. So I think like really that is a group that has been very successful, and we could definitely do the same and the same kind of like the blueprint, use that. Of course, it's a little different, the things that we would be doing and so on, but the same concept. I do think that when something happens in a country, we should be allowed to talk about it at some point, right? Like it was very relevant, and I feel like maybe then Colleen was like lives I was gonna say here, but I'm in Germany too right now. Lives in the US, and kind of feels it like I feel like it is okay to talk about it with the community at some point, because that's what we're there for. We're supposed to be a supportive community, but it shouldn't be like the focus of everything. But if some, I think I don't know if something in Germany would happen, right? And then you know, like we should be able to talk about that as well, because that's part of being the supportive network. But it should definitely not be the focus, because it's global. Again, it's like again, advocacy, visibility, and supportive network has nothing to do with where you're from, where you live, right? This is very cloud native specific and professional specific, right? Like helping each other find jobs and so on. It should be really focused on the cloud native community and not on the country, about the country. But yeah, talking about issues that are very relevant, okay, but it should not be something political. And I think it's also important because the CNCF is and the Linux foundations, they are US based, and I don't think they are in the position to be very supportive if we are making this political, because they receive government money and things like that as well. So it's like that's just like the reality. So let's focus on community. That would be my kind of suggestion. And yeah, absolutely global. Sometimes we may talk about situations in countries, but it should definitely not be about that. At least that's my opinion,
So
or my view.
the group is
Yeah.
not to be political, but to focus, not to be political, not to focus on one country, but to be a global effort, correct?
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I-
yeah. Well, that's what at least I was hoping this would. I honestly
agree.
just think that we started and then that, pardon my French, shit show happened. So you know, it was like we're very new, just created, and I mean, it's just like you need to. It's just like you need to talk about it because it's just crazy. And that was just the moment when we're still forming, and I feel that might have kind of created the impression that that's what it is about. But I think it was just because there was no, thriving community that's already set and we have the things. It was very new. And then it just happened. And but let's make sure that we emphasize that it's not about that. We can talk about it and so on, but it should not kind of dominate. Sorry, William.
Yes, Catherine, what all that you said is very good and true. We should continue on our course. We should still acknowledge what's happening, and we should still do our best to make sure that we are heard. So speaking of which, I would like to move on from this. Can we? Shall we? Because we don't have a lot of time. We have literally 13 minutes left from what I said. So mentorship. We have. I really want to do this. I really want to get stuff done with mentorship. So we have this slide, which was shared by Catherine, I suppose. Yes. So this slide is something that we can put at the end of all our presentations. It's just like 30 seconds before your thank you and before you take all your bows. Just you can share this slide. There is a QR code where where the people that are can submit to be mentors. I know, Catherine, that you said somewhere, I think, that at the moment we're only looking for mentors, but I'm ready to accept mentees. So, no, that's not how you call people being mentored.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
Mentor and
mentee?
mentee. Yep.
Cool, that's it. So I'm ready to accept. And as far as I understand, there is Wayne that is already looking for some guidance. So you can stick with me, Wayne, or you can find somebody that looks better than me. Good luck with that. Anyway, let's play my drums.
Almost impossible.
Okay.
Almost impossible.
Almost impossible, of course. So that's but at the same time, Kalea, I know that she's very much like the wizard of observability, from what I seem to have understood. Just throwing it out there. But how can we make so? Catherine, my question is: so we have this mentorship program, or we are trying to stand up this mentorship program. Now we are collecting names. Where can if I were to be a mentee, how do I reach out? How do I find out? What do I do?
Well, that is step 2. So honestly, I wanted to start this like months ago, but I was so busy with the tactical stuff, and then it was like a week before KubeCon, and I was like, I mean, it's a huge opportunity, and we got like 34 submissions. So because people put
Oh,
it on the
really?
slide. Yeah. So
Beauty.
We showed
glad
it.
we did that.
We showed it at the inclusion for
Yeah.
contributors talk. So that was on the big screen and people took pictures. So I was hoping they were doing the QR
Yeah.
code.
No, people did.
You mean the slide, Kalea? You mean the slide you showed? Yeah, me too.
Like Catherine has. We had it at the end. Josh made sure that it was up on the big screen so people saw it, and then he talked about it. So
Right.
yeah.
I also did the same, and a lot of people did the same as well. Also, outside KubeCon, from what I understood. So it's good.
Yeah, so I saw actually 2 more coming in and like yesterday or something, so it's circulating somewhere. So
Nice.
but I feel that finding mentees is a lot easier. Because there's a lot more people who want to kind of find someone who help them. So I honestly still have to kind of figure out how to do it. I have to go through it, like see what people want, and then probably going to clean it up a little bit. But then we would basically do the same for mentees, and then see where we have people who match. But yeah, it's still very much in progress. I just wanted to use the opportunity of KubeCon because there is a lot of visibility. So we kind of rushed it to get that in, and in the form at the bottom it says we're still collecting, and so ask people to please be patient. Yeah.
So when we talk about the
Okay.
goals for BIPOC, does that mentorship initiative, like whoever signs up for that and participates, does that relate to the create pathways for BIPOC individuals into cloud native and open source?
Absolutely.
I figure like, how do we move forward and actually accomplish something? So this mentorship is a way to accomplish something that relates back to the charter.
Absolutely. So the way I see it, the mentorship is a way to. So it depends, right? It depends what is the type of mentorship that someone is looking for. It might be as simple as I have never spoke of something. This is the things that I work on. I would like to be on stage and speak about it. Can you help me out? I mean, you can help out somebody like that. You can attend and speak together and prepare stuff together. Or there are some other people that say, look, I'm trying to get into cloud native as a day-to-day job. I mean, at the moment I'm more into, I don't know, legacy type of work. I mean, I don't know, database or hardware maintenance or whatever, right? I mean, and they're all very, very noble jobs. But once wants to do cloud native specific work, and then there could be also that kind of mentorship. So of course, if we have someone that is more of a DevRel, might not be interested or might not be in the place of providing open source contribution type of mentorship. But that's why you want to align. You want to have maybe a conversation. And we have to be honest. I never been a mentor. I mean, formally a mentor for everyone. So we need to see also what works. There are things that might not work, and things that might work. When we need to see what doesn't work. So, did I answer, Kalea, or not?
Yeah, I have a question though for Catherine to kind of follow up on that. Catherine, for this mentorship program, what does this mentorship program align with? Is it the tag strategy? Kind of, is it under that umbrella? Because it's not directly under our initiative, right? It's under a
No.
larger group, right?
Yeah, so I wanted to clarify that. So it's not only for BIPOC, right? So it's for any group of underrepresented, like any underrepresented group. So the things like, do you want to be a mentor for someone from an underrepresented group? And so people can pick which group they would like to be teamed up with. Or maybe they don't have any. I mean, a lot of people said like they're open. Some people want to mentor people from their own community, right? So we're trying to give people a little bit options, and then you can also say what kind of mentorship you want to do. Maybe you want to do just like teaming up for one talk, or maybe you want to meet monthly for career advice. Like there are different things that you can choose because people first of all, they have different skills, right? One of the options as well, I want to teach someone how to contribute to open source, right? So it's very broad. So you can select what your capabilities are and what you would like to teach someone. And so that's why as well, like it might take a little longer because we are giving options and people are picking certain things, right? But yeah, it's not a BIPOC specific thing. And where it is aligned. So right now it's a tag thing, tag contributor strategy. But again, we are working. It was a little bit on hold because Angela Brown, who is like the senior VP of events at the Linux Foundation and a huge supporter, she was on sabbatical. And literally when she was gone, everything kind of was on pause. I think they were waiting for her. So we are and she's back. So very happy. So things should be moving forward a little faster. So we are working on that initiative, which is going to be called Merge Forward. That is a Linux Foundation initiative. So it's not specifically for the CNCF, but because everything that is like everything that's diversity related is not necessarily specific to any foundation, right? But I do want to make sure that we have like a direct channel to the TLC, because they are very tuned in into, well, we want to make sure that people in the CNCF actually know what we do and what's going on. I don't want it to kind of like completely get out of it. But we're like the details we're working on them. Like the paperwork is being done. So we just reviewed it, and at some point it will be part of that. And that's when we are going to move all the diversity groups into this larger Linux Foundation wide group.
Under the merge forward, right?
Yes.
Okay, guys, I'm taking notes. Please go in, edit, change. If I missed something that I got it incorrect, please feel free to change it. Because I'm just trying to take notes of some of the discussion that we've had. Yeah, so that we have something to show for like our agenda that we actually talked about real stuff this time.
Thanks
Every
for doing
time,
that.
but just today.
Okay, so hello, Travis. I didn't see you joining. I saw you writing, and then I saw you. I missed you at KubeCon. I was hoping that you would be there. Okay. Yeah, I'm giving time to the interpreter. All right, cool.
Oh, right. Sorry. Just can everyone see me just fine?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, just all right. Sorry. By the way, I just want to say we don't advertise this feature yet, but it's really awesome that I can get an interpreter in this meeting. So I'm glad that my son was interpreter here. I just want to. I know I missed the first half of the meeting, but I just want to talk about. I know we did like mentorship, the job opportunity, but I was thinking in the Slack channel we could talk about give a positive good news, like talk about all the great thing that let's say someone here has made a difference. And it's like hey, I speak up for this other person that is afraid to speak up, and I spoke up on this person's behalf. So I think it's good that this person shared this good news in the Slack channel, because I know if you share that news on LinkedIn, it may come across as like I don't know, like it draws the wrong intention. And so I think that will really open up a lot of opportunity, definitely a networking opportunity. And I love to hear all the good news from other people. So
Yeah, I
so what do
understand
you
what you
think?
mean, Travis.
Yeah. So that's just my suggestion for whoever want to share the good news.
Yeah, and I think the Deaf and Hard of Hearing does a really good job at that, right? Like it is always people are like posting things and sharing, and if someone had like a win, like or some exciting talk, any one of our community, and you write a post about it, share it on the Slack channel so everyone can repost and comment, and like that's one of that's the easier part of it, and the fun part of it. It's just let's create buzz around, people in the community who have done something exciting, or like, yeah, so I think that's an easy one. And like if anyone is curious, hop on the Deaf and Hard of Hearing working Slack channel and have a look. I mean, it's sometimes pretty exciting, and it's sometimes very busy. So which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We are at time. I need to be the guy that does that, but we are at time and we have to close the meeting. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, 13th of May. Kalea, thank you so much for taking the notes. You have written a lot of stuff there.
Have an action item for next month?
I'm sorry, what?
Do we have an action item for next month? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. It was me. We don't, but I feel very much that our action item should be to close down, to be able to close down the, and Catherine, you have to tell me if that's possible, to be able to close down the or to publish something to gather mentees. I feel that that should be our action item.
Like creating a form for mentees. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, somehow capture the mentees and say, okay,
That's a little
can we
earlier
match?
than, oh, sorry. That's a little earlier than I was thinking, but we could, I guess we could do it. I was hoping to definitely kind of like gather more mentors, because we are going to have much fewer people who or it's going to be much slower, right? Because you have a lot more mentees wanting to have help. So I was actually kind of thinking of doing it for a few months.
Okay.
But we could also, I don't know, we can talk about it. Maybe we can do one and we're just focusing more on the BIPOC community and not like making it really big. Because if you do it on talks and things, you're gonna get a lot. That's my fear. You're gonna get a lot of people who will have interest and wanna do it, but yeah, compared to the people who actually signed up to be a mentor.
So we narrowed
Okay.
it down to do BIPOC for right now, so that you can have like a sample, like a proof of concept. Basically, have your own little POC.
Yeah.
Use us, and if we can recruit mentors and mentees, that could be action items for May. And then we have to figure out what are the commitments we're going to have as mentors. What are the commitments mentees would have? Because if you're a mentor and you're giving this time, then the mentee should also be giving some time to have actions that they will follow up with.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm agreeing with this, Kalia, because the problem of boxing it into one group might have negative effects on the future of it for the other groups, or might give the feeling that this program is just for BIPOC people.
Oh,
I'm just thinking. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm
okay,
not sure.
yeah. I just want some action items. So we don't have to do it for mentors or mentees. We could just go a whole different direction with this and say, okay, do something different. But, that does sound like a good opportunity. That's all. I'm just taking notes and I'm going to be involved. So I need structure.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you. I hear you.
I love that you're pushing for action items, and we should have action items for each meeting. So I love that. So thank you. I think one thing that we should do, and maybe Will, you can do that, because we do have an interview where you're on stage, to write a little post about that and the BIPOC group to raise awareness, and then post that in the channel, so we can all share and raise awareness about that too. That is a very little, very small action item, so something else would be good too. But we should definitely, each time that there is an opportunity like that, we need to kind of push it out and kind of mobilize the whole community to promote it and share it.
I will do that, and I will ask to CNCF to post it in the blog from CNCF. So so that's my action item, Claire, to have a blog post on the CNCF.
The other thing that is kind of pending, we did have an interest about another live stream, so I'm just putting it out there. I know that kind of fell through the cracks. That could be another thing to kind of try to revive that effort until next month. At least have people find people who are interested, and then know what we're gonna, what we want to talk about, and then like next time we can try to see like when are the options, when could we go live and so on. But yeah.
So what Catherine is talking about, for those that have not seen that stream, is a stream where 4 or 5 BIPOC members share their story, and maybe there is a moderator. And last time was Colleen, which did a great job, and moderator which goes through let's say questioning motive, but things can go in a different direction as well. We will post the link in the Slack channel so that you guys can have a look at it, and we're always looking for volunteers for such streams.
Yeah, and I have an idea. Actually, what would be great would be having people who live in very different countries, and we could
Yeah.
talk about the different experience, how being part of the BIPOC community in different countries is very different. So just talking about the global aspect of it, that could be something interesting.
Cool. All right. Okay. If there is nothing else, guys, I think we have to close. I will be. Yeah, we can just close it, right? We don't need to stop the recording or such.
It's all automatic.
All right. Okay. Well, see you in a month then, and read you in the Slack channel. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.